Hi everyone, my name is Caleb and this is Rufert.
Hi guys.
Together, we are the authors of the book Ascendance, The Road to Being Extraordinary. So in this podcast series, we aim to discuss on how you can use your strengths to be more energized and motivated in a business. And in today's episode of Strengths Unlocked, we especially invited Jin, right, Guo Jin, and we'll be discussing on the talents, empathy, and positivity.
Yes.
So Jin is currently still a student in NTU, studying chemical engineering. And the fun fact is he has given up his scholarship to join the career.
Whoa.
That's right.
Yeah, and
That's hardcore.
over the past few years, he has done 2 times MDRT and currently leads a team of 10 people. Yeah, so shall we start with empathy first?
Okay. So for people with advisors and people with high empathy in their talents, you tend to enjoy emotional conversations. So when people open up to you, you enjoy opening up to others as well. So at the same time, if you're in a conversation with a client that's always very logical, always talking about facts and figures, always about showing me the product, someone with high empathy will feel very de-energized with that. Yeah. So for someone with high empathy like you, what kind of conversations do you enjoy the most with your clients and associates?
So for me, the kind of conversations I enjoy the most with my associates and clients is, when we can really sit down and talk about very deep topics. Yeah. So for example, when I ask them things like, what motivates them? And they really tell me like, let's say, okay, their family, they share with me like their goals and everything. And I'll just sit there and listen. Yeah. So that's my strength to really listen and put myself in their shoes. Yeah. And I can really like imagine like why would they say this and why this thing motivates them. And I think by putting myself in their shoes, I can also it also motivates me in terms of like the way that I plan for them. And it will be very personalized and customized for them.
So you like it to be personal. The more personal it is, the better.
Very personal. And like the thing is, so for some advisors, right, they like when people listen to their appointments, it energizes them. For me, I like it very personal. Like just
private.
Private. Yeah. I think that's me in terms of being empathetic. Because I feel like I can really focus and listen to my clients and associates. Yeah.
So what I thought of as you were mentioning that, right, is, typically human beings, we listen to reply. And you mentioned something about, when the person is talking, you are visualizing and putting yourself in the person's shoes. So is that like a subconscious thing that you're doing already every day on a daily basis? Or how does that work in your mind?
I think it has always been something that has been with me. And when I listen, sometimes like natural we would want to reply ASAP. But I think there's this conscious muscle in me that will just hold back. And like I will just let this person finish speaking first before I reply. Yeah. And because I also want to really let this person share like wholeheartedly everything before and to connect with this person first before I reply. And so my reply won't be like so surface to just listen and reply. Yeah, I would want to really take the time to understand this person first before I reply. And in our conversations, right, there may even be like 3 to 5 seconds of silence before I reply.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I really want to internalize also what this person is saying.
What are some questions that go through your mind when you're curious about someone? I mean, the empathy talent in you is fighting to understand this person better so that you can connect deeper, right? What are some questions that go through your mind or you typically ask your clients to understand them better, especially for those who might be a bit more reserved?
Yeah, I think your question is what goes through my mind, right? Yeah.
Or questions that go through your mind.
I think instead of like questions, I would be at the back of my head, I would be thinking like, why would this person say this? Yeah, like for example,
what drives it?
What drives it? Correct. Yeah, because I can really connect emotionally. Yeah, and like when when someone is a bit more guarded or like I say like more logical, and then in my head I will be like, okay, so I guess this person is maybe brought up like this. So there'll be some assumptions in my head. Like why this person is like that. Yeah, instead of like trying to force like an answer out of him. I would say so. So it's a lot of putting myself in their shoes and trying to assume more why would this person say this.
Yeah.
Could be like for a few reasons lah, like the way they're brought up, their environment and things like that. And I don't like to assume lah why this person is like this. Yeah.
It's like you're reading between the lines lah. You don't take the literal sentence whatever I tell you, you're like thinking, why would this person say this particular sentence, right? There must be something that happened before he or she says this, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So when it comes to empathy, I think one of the things that advisors struggle with is having too much rapport building. It's like, talking like 80-90% of the whole appointment. Yeah, because like empathize, I want to empathize with you. So how do you manage that? Like how many percent, or maybe you share how many percent, right, in your whole appointment is so-called talking about personal life, and how many percent is it on business, just to get a rough gauge?
Yeah. As advisors also, I know lah. I mean, for this question, for me, I'm aware of my time also as advisors, because our time is also precious lah. So we can't have too long appointments. So in terms of building rapport, I think I would keep it short also, even though I would want to empathize with this client before even talking about business. So that's why I make it a point, right, where this building rapport process is not just limited to the start, and it is throughout lah. Because like
favorite.
Yeah,
Continuous rapport.
continuous
throughout.
rapport, correct. Because whatever they say at the start, right, it's really internalized in my head. And like later on when we talk about certain other topics, I can always link it back. And
Guys,
it's
the
very,
convo lah.
yeah, and it's very easy for me to link it back. Yeah, because I already understood them at the start, like maybe in the first 5 minutes. Yeah. And I think that is enough for me to feel emotionally connected, and along the way in the consult or what. And then like more questions will pop up to connect even more deep.
Yep.
Yeah. So I feel like it's not just limited to the start. It's throughout the whole consult lah. Yeah.
Feels like your business is quite people-centric, which means to say that if your prospect or client is willing to have this conversation with you, to build this rapport and for you to activate this strength, right, you will thrive. But what about some prospects, right, that come in, they are dominant, right, they just want to get things done. How do you deal with such people? Is it a tough profile to deal with for you?
Yeah. So personally, I think I don't have that many clients.
You attract your
my
Affinity market,
affinity
people
market
that
lah.
resonate with you.
Yeah, and
More open people lah.
yeah, but at the same time, I wouldn't like judge them or what. And same thing I will still do the same thing where I just listen and try and connect with this person why they are like this, and then I will just reciprocate lor. Yeah.
That explains why when we go for some courses about sales, they say that the most effective and the most successful salespeople are those who know how to listen, not those who speak very, very well. You've heard like yappers, talk throughout the whole convo and then get no convincing done and no rapport built with the prospect.
Yeah.
So I think he excels through that.
That'd be the worst, yapping throughout.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to summarize what Jin has shared with us so far, right, based on his talent, empathy, right, essentially he's always putting himself in other people's shoes, and that's like a conscious or subconscious effort already. Every day is like that. Yeah, and instead of judging or coming to conclusions on why this person say a particular sentence, he instead think about why this person will say this, and maybe give this person some benefit of doubt.
Yes.
Yeah, and in terms of building his market as well, because he focuses on young professionals, he have more clients who are like him, right? That's why we say like attract like, and even for clients who are maybe harder to deal with, right? He also still takes similar approach, right? To go through the same process to think, hey, why would this person do this, behave like this, or say this, right? Before he concludes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So shall we move to positivity?
Sure. Okay, one of my favorite talents as well.
Yeah.
So positivity, people with high positivity, they are the life of the party. They are the glue and the energy in the entire group.
Yeah.
They call them the energy ball.
Yeah.
So they encourage themselves by encouraging others. So in times where you feel demoralized, right, people with high positivity would find opportunities to go and speak to people. A bit relevant to our previous episode where John Kit spoke about creating an impact in people and people look for him. But in fact, for people with high positivity, you might not even need to make a huge impact. As long as you get your encouragement words out, you'll feel excited and happy already.
Exactly.
Yeah. So for people with high positivity like you, how do you use this talent to energize yourself? I'm sure in your career there are ups and downs. So in periods of downtimes and less motivation. How does this talent play in for you to encourage you and motivate you?
Yeah. So in terms of positivity, like what I mentioned, I think we feed off encouraging others. So for me, I like to always appreciate others in terms of like what they have done for me, or like, you know, just them in general.
Verbally,
Verbally, it could be verbally or like
Text.
through text. Yeah.
as long as you communicate.
As long as I communicate it, and it's like I can feel the instant change.
Yeah.
Yeah. For example, when I send like a appreciation text, I feel way more energized. Yeah, just by sending appreciation and like encouraging them also.
If they haven't replied you,
Doesn't
feel
matter. I feel good just by sending out lah.
nice.
Yeah, and I think positivity is also about like contagious enthusiasm. Yeah, like what you mentioned, being the life of the party, and just connecting people around. Basically just having fun and spreading positivity. Yeah.
So it feels like you're charging people most of the time.
In
The
a
question
sense.
is, who charges you?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So the thing is, by charging others, some people will say like you will de-energize yourself.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
You're giving ma.
Yeah,
Right?
Correct. But I feel like for positivity as a strength, that doesn't really apply because it charges us up, right, by charging others up.
So reflection,
Reflection.
Come back
Yeah.
to you.
Correct. Because when we charge them up, and they will also be energized, and then they will also like transfer
you
back. Yeah. Just like a reflection.
Two-way street.
Two-way street.
All the time, like after constant encouragement for like 10 advisors who might be really lost in their ways, like, you still feel more charged, really. Honestly.
Okay, maybe not 10.
There's a limit.
There's a limit.
lah.
There's a limit. Yeah, there's a limit. So of course, like we always look out for people to energize them. And if let's say we do it too much, or like this person doesn't reciprocate that energy, then of course sometimes you'll feel a bit de-energized also. Yeah.
So affinity market also lah. Find the people that affinity market that reciprocate, not reciprocate, more like that benefit the most from your charging and your positivity.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what if you keep giving and one day you just feel that you're not reciprocated? So how do you self-charge? Like, do you spend alone time? Do you like go out? Like what do you do?
Yeah, so I think this is like in terms of more personal life, like how I recharge. So for me, I block out like 2 periods every week to spend time with my girlfriend, and that's where like I mainly recharge.
She'll charge you.
Charge each other.
Charge you.
Okay.
Yeah, like that's when it's really my downtime, and like I don't think about work, just spend time with her and our cat. Yeah, and I think that's like every week I have 2 checkpoints to sort of recharge.
Yeah.
Based on to recharge the energy that I've given off in the past week.
So for positivity as well, we get this feedback a lot that people with high positivity might be overly positive and be overly idealistic and sometimes even delusional. Like a big task on hand to, example, write a book on investment planning or write a report on cryptocurrency. You might not even know how to start. But what will your response be when you hear something
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So for someone with who might not understand what's going through your mind, they'll be like, this guy just talk only. He might not know what is what are the challenges that are going to come and everything. So how do you cope with being overly positive? How do you find people who complement this strength of yours, right? You give the hope about what kind of people do you mix with that can complement to make sure that there are logical proper steps to follow through with what you want to do?
Yeah, so I think like what you said, every time like there's a big task, I will like delusional go and like accept it and say, okay, I can do it. Yeah, and then after that the reality will hit me lah. And then
She gets real.
she gets real. Like, am I going to do this?
Yeah.
And then I think like what you mentioned, if that's for me personally, I will try to do it on my own. Yeah, and then if let's say it gets a bit tough, and then that's where I'll reach out for help in terms of like completing this project, for example.
Who best compliments you? What kind of people?
Compliments me, like in terms of strengths?
Yeah,
or like what kind of?
Maybe not specifically strength finder specific, but more like what are they good at that typically compliments you best in a project? Is it details or what?
I think maybe details and someone who keeps me accountable lah. Yeah, because in terms of positivity, like let's say there's a deadline, for example, and for people with positivity strengths, we hate to work with like deadlines. Yeah, because I'll feel very pressured. So maybe I just need someone to also keep me on track. Yeah.
Milestones.
Milestones or like and tell me what to do. Yeah, like okay, you need to do this, like dedicate lah. So I'm very clear, okay, what I need to do. Yeah, if not, it's too big picture already.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does a raw form of positivity look like for you? Like if you think back to many years ago when you were still like just happy-go-lucky, like were there any things that so-called were you identify that as a raw form compared to who you are today? Like, were there any instances for yourself?
Yeah, I think I will use the word that you have said, which is delusional. Yeah, because like let's say in poly, right? For example, exams are coming, and then there's like 1-2 weeks left. I always tell myself, okay, there's time. Can one. You know, sure can one. And then end up right, like always 100%, right? Not even 99%, it's 100%, right? I will study on the last day. Yeah.
But you got first class honors.
But still do well.
I guess it works.
Yeah. So I think it's like maybe giving myself in terms of raw form, maybe giving myself too much leeway, maybe like freedom, too much space, if that's the correct word.
Reality check. I just want to give you a reality check on that. Whack you.
Yeah. Like I'll keep thinking is everything is fine. Yeah, like I would think so lah. Yeah.
You were telling us about your 2022 like downfall in FA also, right? Maybe I think the listeners want to hear about what led to that and how do you cope with it at the same time.
Yeah. So I think to the listeners, in terms of some context, right? So I'm 3 years in this business, and I cleared my roundtable in my first and my third year. Yeah, so I will claim my second year as like a downfall lah. Yeah, so I think what happened was, I just got a bit complacent, just got very comfortable, and then I just decided to like isolate myself. Yeah, and I think that was the start of like a downward spiral, because I decided to isolate myself, and then I don't talk to people, I don't encourage people, and therefore I was also de-energized, and then because of that, then I don't work, no results, and it's like a whole cycle. Yeah. So I think that was my downfall. What was the point again?
Like what we have done different. Adding on to this, what we have done different if you go back then, knowing yourself, being more aware of your strengths right now.
Yeah, I think back then, especially in my second year, I wasn't very aware of my strengths and what would motivate me. So I was also very lost. But knowing my strengths now, and if I could go back, I think I would have surrounded myself with people lah. That means my team members, the people in the agency, and to really just bounce off this energy to get me back there lah. Yeah. And I think another reason also was in my second year, in my downfall, I didn't really have anyone like super close that I could also like really share encouragement with lah.
Empathy.
And like also be emotionally connected to share lah. So it's like a mix of empathy and positivity. Yeah. So I think for people with these two strengths, I think it's very important to have this close circle that will always keep you in check.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's very important.
Yep. Yeah. So what changed from year 2 to year 3 to getting your next round table?
Right. Recruitment. Can I say that?
Sure. You say anything you want.
Yeah. So I think in my second year, I was still a bit stagnant in terms of like bringing in associates and friends lah. So I think that changed in my third year when I really start to see like the fruits of my recruitment efforts, and that's where my friends more started to come in. And I felt this sense of responsibility also. Yeah, and it was like a wake-up call that I had to do it. Because by tapping into my positivity strength, right, like by coaching them and by giving them encouragement, and then let's say after I finish, right, and then I just go back to my own ways and I don't do anything like to work lah.
Cannot lah.
Yeah, cannot lah. It's very like imposter.
Don't lead by example.
Yeah.
Imposter.
Yeah, to lead by example. So I think that was the change in terms of having that tight unit lah, people I trust and I can also share these feelings with. And by encouraging them to do well and seeing them do well also encourages me lah, and energizes me.
Okay, can you do something right now? As I just, can you do a shout out to your associates to thank them for energizing you for your third year in the business?
All right. So let me let me thank Rama. Right. I think he was the one lah that started this whole thing because he was very proactive, and that was like my reality check also. Like I need to get my
Sure.
together, you know. Yeah, please censor. Yeah, and of course everyone that I brought in. So Derek, Matthew, Dylan, Hui Xing, Mark, Rachel, and Sean. Yeah.
Thank you guys for
Thank
energizing Jin to the best version of himself.
And I think they know it also lah. I always like give them appreciation. Yeah, that's just me.
Positivity.
Positivity.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
We can do it.
So to summarize what Jin has shared with us for positivity, right? Generally, every day he will be out there charging others. At the same time, when people reciprocate it also recharges him as well, personally. And in so-called down days or negative times, he would lean back on his loved ones, right? Specifically, shout out to girlfriend, right? Your cat latte. Yeah. So this is how he is generally as a person, and he looks at things positively, right? And like what we mentioned just now, the raw form could be being a little bit more over optimistic, like can be done, no problem, right? But last minute and I have to chop, right? But over the years, I think Jin have really understood a little bit about what he can or cannot do, right, within a certain time frame, and from there he can adjust. Yeah. So to sum everything up, maybe Jin, could you give the audience a word of advice for empathy? Right, for people who have empathy and for people who have positivity, right, what would be your final word of advice?
So I think to the audience, in terms of some advice as advisors, no pun intended. Yeah. So I think in terms of empathy wise, keep being convicted in your strength. Because when I wasn't aware of that empathy was my top strength, I always kept comparing myself to other advisors. Like
they are different from you.
Yeah, like I always keep thinking maybe I'm a bit more quiet. Am I fit to be like an advisor who is more hee hee ha ha rah rah? But I think if you know that this is your strength, then you should double down on this strength of being empathetic and being our clients' listening ears, and to always put ourselves in their shoes and do things onto them that you want others to do onto you. And I think in terms of positivity, I guess maybe sometimes you need a reality check, but it's I think we are the core of like a group. We bring the fun, we bring the energy. So whenever you feel de-energized, right, you must be aware and always find somewhere that charges you back so that you can continuously spread energy again.
Very good advice. Rufus, got any final thoughts? Any quotes come to your mind?
A quote came to my mind, but let's see whether it's relevant. I've mini statue on my table at home. It says laughter is the best medicine. Yeah. So when I look at Jin and I hear about the things he does to encourage others, to spread this contagious energy, enthusiasm, like you said, this contagious energy would also infect ourselves to make us happy again, laugh again. And I think every advisor listening to this deserves the chance to be happy and fulfilled in this career. And I hope you're listening to this so far. It has been helping you in your journey. So that's the end of this episode.
Okay, thank you, Jin.
Thank you.
And see you in the next episode of Strengths Unlocked.
See you guys.
Bye.